Welcome to April 9th, 2026. The Singularity has started classifying human-written code as a hazardous material. In the wake of Anthropic's Mythos announcement, commentators warn that it will be unsafe for humans to write code at all, given Mythos's superhuman vulnerability discovery, an inversion in which the most dangerous thing in the room is no longer the AI, but the artisanal for loop. Mythos also appears to be the first model class trained at scale on Blackwells, with Vera Rubins waiting in the wings, a generational handoff happening while pre-training still has headroom, RL is paying off, and a tidal wave of fresh compute is just starting to land. OpenAI is reportedly finalizing its own Mythos-style staggered rollout of a cyber model to a small set of partners, while Elon says SpaceX AI's Colossus 2 now has 7 models in training, from Imagine V2 through Twin 1T and 1.5T variants up to a 10T behemoth, with each pre-training run lasting roughly 2 months. Yet sheer firepower is not the same as frontier position. A leaked memo from the post-merger xAI's new president, who also runs Starlink, admits the lab is clearly behind the other frontier shops and is reorganizing engineering ahead of the SpaceX IPO, since 7 simultaneous training runs cannot, by themselves, manufacture taste. The model zoo is speciating fast. Meta's Muse Spark, the first model under Alexander Wang, is being called a data labeling CEO's model, for crushing data quality benchmarks while flubbing reasoning ones. A reminder that you ship the org chart you have. Alibaba anonymously dropped Happy Horse 1.0, which promptly seized the #1 slot on artificial analysis's text-to-video and image-to-video boards, knocking ByteDance's CDance 2.0 down to second. ByteDance is fighting back by making old models smarter mid-flight with in-place test time training, repurposing MLP projection matrices as fast weights so a 4B model can dominate at 128,000 context. OpenAI's researchers, meanwhile, solved 5 more Erdos problems across combinatorics, probability, and number theory, steadily turning the open conjectures of the 20th century into closed tickets in the issue tracker of the 21st. Cognition's Scott Wu notes global flops are growing approximately 3 times annually, while inference demand is growing approximately 10 times, a scissor that forecasts price hikes and a flight to smaller, leaner models. The applications layer is drinking from the fire hose. Perplexity's ARR doubled to $500 million since New Year's. Tubi became the first major streamer to launch a native app inside ChatGPT, turning the chat window into the new channel guide. Google countered with notebooks in the Gemini app, folding Notebook LM directly into the assistant, so chats, sources, and files share one workspace. Embodiment is sneaking in through the lighting aisle. Sincere unveiled Loom, a lamp-shaped robot pitched as something that does your chores, suggesting the first mass-market home robot will not arrive as a humanoid at all, but disguised as furniture you already own. The substrate is groaning to keep up. TSMC's CoWoS packaging is compounding at 80% annually, with the majority of capacity earmarked for NVIDIA, while Meta committed an additional $21 billion to CoreWeave running through 2032, atop a prior $14.2 billion deal. Yet even Stargate has frontiers it can't brute force. OpenAI paused its UK Stargate build-out, citing energy costs and regulation, and Epic AI calculated Chinese and open labs are running on roughly 10 times less compute than the frontier, a gap that explains both their creativity and their urgency. Germany's response to the energy bottleneck is poetic. It is building the world's tallest wind turbine, 364 meters, inside a coal mine, erecting the future on top of the buried past. The human stack is getting its own upgrades. Life Biosciences raised $80 million to begin clinical testing of its anti-aging gene therapy, while GLP-1 drugs are projected to add $13 billion in apparel sales as Americans shrink out of their wardrobes. Meanwhile, the iPhone Fold is reportedly on track for a September launch, ready to slip into the newly slimmer pockets. The disclosure timeline is also apparently accelerating. Representative Ogles says the White House registered aliens.gov because the president wants to be the guy that revealed the truth and lay a historic baseline on UAPs, while Representative Burchett's H.R. 8197 would dissolve AARO entirely, a no-confidence vote on the Pentagon's UAP gatekeeping office. Even the most conservative valuation models are now drawing escape velocity curves. UBS's Holt model, an old-school cash flow valuation tool, now pegs NVIDIA's fair value at $22 trillion. And OpenAI CFO Sarah Frier says retail investors will, for sure, get IPO shares after roaring demand from individuals in the latest round. Capital markets are attempting to buy in while the Singularity is still priced in dollars.